Now, Life is Strange did not come out this year, but I'm counting it because it technically came out as a collection physically this year, and I also think it's amazing. Is the ending disappointing? Sure. Don't really give a shit. This game delivers on everything I think story-based walking simulators, whatever the hell, are going for. How can I spell his name? I don't know who he is. I don't know, Will. You figure it out. You just do it. The way this game, I loved all the characterization in this game. You really feel for Max as she's going through all this stuff. She gets a rewind time power, and her friend from years ago comes back into her life, and dealing with their relationship and this superpower story, in a sense, how it's told is very, very compelling, very interesting. And if you're talking about an emotional experience, the start of chapter 4 is just, or I guess the end of chapter 3 rather, was just like being punched in the face by this game. It is unbelievable, the stuff that happens along the way and how these characters interact and how this affected me. Like, this is a game I will always remember, and I loved it. Now the ending, no one gets the ending right. I guarantee you, no one's gonna like the ending of Game of Thrones. It's gonna be a disappointment. It's gonna be stupid. Blah 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 blah. Who cares? Every story is like that. All right, hype it up for you. Yeah. Every story is like that. So it's about the journey. It's about the choices. There are choices that happen in this game where you're like, oh no, that had to happen. That had to happen, right? Right? No, it didn't have to happen. That crazy thing that happens at the end of episode 2 didn't have to happen. And you start, or was it the end of episode 1? Doesn't matter. No, it's the end of episode 2. You start to look at these situations and see the possibilities, because what this game does, in these other story-based games, you're like, okay, am I going to be nice to this person? Okay, I'll pick this dialogue option. Or this guy's a dick. I'll pick this option. In this game, because you can rewind time, you can pick both options and see which one you want. So you'll be talking, which is fucking genius, by the way, genius. And then, not only that, not only do you get to see option A, where you're be a dick to this person, and option B, where you're a little nicer, you then get to pick one and live with the decision, knowing that you could have gone back and changed it if you really wanted to. And it really does. It's like, do I stick up for this person? I don't know. Is that going to ripple way down the line? Yes. Yes, it is. Now, are there plot holes? Sure. Is it a little goofy? Sure. You're fucking telling a story like this that's incredible. Comes out of nowhere. I mean, the mystery that they're solving, how it's all solved. I love the final. I'll say the ending is a letdown, but the stuff leading up to it is incredible. And the stuff you're starting to do with time, it's not necessarily time travel, but like the weird shit you do with it, it starts spiraling out of control. There are things going on that if you don't know, like if you don't know anything about the game, there are things that are going to happen, and you're just like, I had no idea. I did not expect this at all. And now I'm just sitting here like, I don't know what to do with my life. I loved it. Loved it to pieces. Was the last time the game Life Truly Is Strange, and they like high-fived. Jumped into the freeze frame. That would have been really cool. I would have liked that ending a lot. It would have been pretty funny. No, the ending is kind of a bummer. In a weird way. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it. But yeah, I think this game does. It took like what Walking Dead started, and it just ran way the hell away with it. Incredible. There's only a couple parts of the game where I'd be like, nah, we can cut that. There's this one scene where we have to collect bottles, and it's just super annoying. But besides that, it's fine. Oh yeah, you were saying playing games with your girlfriend or whoever. This is definitely a game you can play with someone and talk about as you're playing and see the reaction to certain things. High fives about life being changed? They probably would. They probably would. Chloe is a weird person. Max is a weird person. I love Max. I think the voice acting for Max is so, like, just spot on. Her characterization and how that all works fits perfectly. Loved it. Loved it. Now, can the game look better? Sure. But it's kind of in its own weird way. It's got a nice style. Hear nothing but good things. Yeah, I heard nothing but good things too. Went into it pretty blind. You get the time travel like at the beginning of the game, so it's not like I spoiled that. And it just starts. It's good. It's really good. I can't spoil anything about it. It's so phenomenally good. Loved it to death. That's why it's the number 3 game of the year. Didn't even come out this year. Don't care. Don't care. My show, I can do whatever I want. And I really do like snooping around. You do get to do that a lot. You get to snoop around and see what people have in their rooms and look at all of it, like this pregnancy test. This is part 2, so it's obviously an hour into the game. It's not like crazy. The pregnancy test doesn't really matter, does it? No, it's small ripples. Small ripples with larger ripples. And by the end, people can die. Very interesting. Very interesting. That's all I'll say. Also, there's this one bitch lady in this game who I just wanted to murder the entire time. She's the worst. And I don't remember by the end what happened. I think she was still a bitch. I think that's how we'll go. She's still a bitch. Now, Uncharted 4. I think Uncharted 1 through 3 are good to great at times. Parts of them are really good. Parts of them are super annoying. The jet ski portion. A lot of the shootouts in 2 and 3 and 1, more so 1, are not fun, not interesting. What 4 did was it had the courage to me to just be what it wanted to be. People complain about the pacing of the intro of this game, like the first half of it. I loved it. I loved how it just wanted to tell its story. And it would cut to the scene. Like, now there's some action, and now we're just going to have some platforming. And here's an entire chapter that's just a cutscene with you and Elena. And I loved that. I loved how it did that. People complain about the platforming. I don't mind the platforming. I think it's fun. It's simple. It's just kind of a goofy time. Fine with that. It all works together so well, and it does something. I mentioned the shooting. I do not think the shooting is amazing in 1 through 3. In 4, they fixed it to me, where it's not all about shooting all the time. There's only 2 instances where I was like, that's too much. This is annoying. The rest of it, perfectly paced. And the stealth mechanics they added in there, I love. I love. Hiding in tall grass is stupid. But it's fun. And I will defend the fun. Super enjoyed the stealth. Marking enemies, hiding behind a doorway, grabbing them and hitting them around the wall with your momentum. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's so well acted and performed. And you might be thinking, well, they've all been like that. No. I just played through The Last of Us a couple weeks ago. They've gotten even better. Everything is done better in Uncharted 4. That's what makes it better. From the climbing to the puzzles, which are great, to the action set pieces, which aren't as memorable, let's say, but the one that's like the standout is easily one of the best moments in a video game I've played this year. Easily just that moment. It somehow manages to out Mad Max, the movie or the game, in that sequence, and it is just unbelievably good. That section of the game, I won't say what it is. They showed it at E3, half of it, or they showed all of it actually. So good. I loved this game, and I went into it going, all right, Uncharted. Like, I'm not super excited about this, but let's see what happens. And it blew me away. Easily one of the best looking games I've ever played. One of the best playing overall. It is a little long in the tooth. Fine, whatever. But what they've created here is just very, like, it's just so solid. Here's Uncharted, and we finally honed all the rough edges that really pissed me off before and made it this adventure, this globe-trotting adventure that it was, but now it's like, it's got this sense of fun in a way that the other games were, here's 30 guys for you to murder, and then you go another room, here's another 30 guys, and I'm just like, I don't fucking want to shoot. The shooting isn't very good in Uncharted, so I don't want to do it constantly. It's not that great. So you add the stealth, you reduce the shooting down, you add more of these, not necessarily heist moments, but things you're going into and solving the thing. And the game has it finally. I really, someone should hire you to just end things, because I would enjoy that. If Nate just turned to the camera and said, "I guess it's all charted," and it did like the like that Looney Tunes and like circle closed it on him, that would have been amazing. No, the ending. To speak about the ending, I loved. I guess to go over endings that I think will disappoint people or aren't as amazing. This ending is exactly like, yeah, I like this ending a lot. I like this a lot. I like the new character Sam a lot. There's not enough Sully, but whatever. I can live with that, I guess. I was so surprised by this game and how much I liked it. So surprised. I did not expect to be like, oh yeah, Uncharted 4 is great. I expected to think it was good, just like I thought 1 through 3 were good, but this is the one game I keep thinking about. Like, I want to get this game, play through it again. I redboxed the game. Play through it again, maybe, do some other stuff with it. Maybe go for the platinum. Who the fuck knows? Because it was good. It was really good. Came out of left field for me. I know everyone else was all excited. Couldn't stop sucking its dick. But it had to prove itself. Now I'll suck its dick. It's really good. The proverbial dick. That is sucked. I guess actually my number 1 game so far is also a game I didn't expect to like as much. Boop. And it's also a game that looks really dark on the screen. But Nioh. And this isn't even the game that's out. Just the Nioh Alpha Demo, which was 6 hours, longer than a lot of games. Yeah, the definition of stunning, yes. Uncharted 4 is a phenomenal game. So Nioh, again, going back to Dark Souls, going back to long-ass demos, it feels like Ninja Gaiden. It's Ninja Theory. People say it's like Onimusha, but I've never played Onimusha. Didn't have a PS2. It's like Dark Souls meets Ninja Gaiden to me. It definitely has that action game feel as you look through these menus. I've really picked a good spot. But the big difference here is the controls are a little changed. And you have stances. So you have like a high stance, which is very high stance. Very powerful attacks. Slower, they use more ki, or stamina, or whatever. Middle, which is like better for blocking, and low is super good for blocking. Medium, medium damage, medium stamina. Low damage, faster attacks. So you're very much balancing how fast I want to kill this guy. Oh, he's almost dead. Switch to a high stance and do a finishing blow. Or he's attacking me. Switch to mid stance. I need to block this. I need to defend. Just those changes right there to the Souls formula, add a ton. And this game is fast. It is a little different than Souls, but it's very much about picking. Like, okay, there's the guy. I'm gonna poke in, aggro, pull back, fight. And if you can't see shit, so goddamn dark game. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. This was amazing. I don't believe it's coming out this year. They say it is. I don't believe them. Maybe in Japan. Maybe. There's another demo coming in about September? August? Month or two. And I'm very excited for that because this was unbelievably good. This game and its difficulty and it's just the change in setting, the change in how certain mechanics and dynamics worked in the gameplay made me feel like I was playing how I felt when I was playing Demon Souls for the first time, and not knowing any Souls secrets or any weird things that are now commonplace 6 years later. This felt like that. It was so good, so unbelievably good. And I love Ninja Gaiden. I will defend Ninja Gaiden 3. No one will do that. I liked it. I just like these games, like Bayonetta type games. But mixed with Dark Souls, mixed with this different samurai setting, is so good. The addition of this armor system that's completely different. You got magic, you got shuriken, you got this creature god that you can power up the thing for, and then you do a special attack, and now you're all powerful for a second. The bosses are very different and powerful. It's so about dodging and managing your ki, stamina, or whatever, more than others, or more than Dark Souls is at certain times. It's so good. If you like Nioh, you should really go back and play them. Retro 3 Onimusha. I don't have Onimusha though. Is there no? There's not on. It's not like. I don't even know if I had a way to play it. I'd be interested. It was always a game series of like, oh, if I had a PS2, I'd play that. That was always Onimusha to me. Like, oh, I'd play that, but I never did. Also, I don't know if that's retro, but it came out in the 2000s. I think for it to be retro, it has to at least be from the last century, right? I think that we can. I'll give you that. And retro, I think to me should be like Super Nintendo and older, but not a PS2 game. Tell me how to play it, and I'll try and play it because I would like to. I don't know how. Onimusha is just like a Ninja Gaiden game, right? It's just like a 3 fighting game. I'm assuming. I know there's demons. I know 3 took place in the present day or something. Some people were mad about that. But how, oh my god, how this feels and how the enemies are lurking and seeking you. It's very Dark Souls, but very not. It's very aggressive and fast. It's almost like Bloodborne in how aggressive it is, or how aggressive enemies are to you, and you are punished. I think they're going to change some of this though. With if you lose all your stamina, you basically stop and stand still as someone just beats the shit out of you, and it's crazy. It is crazy good. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well at all, but I love this to death. It is so good, way better than any other experience. Obviously, number 1 so far I've had this year. I was like, oh, Nioh, yeah, this looks cool. I love Dark Souls. I'll play this. Wow, this was something, especially coming off of Dark Souls 3, where I was like, yeah, this is really good, but it was more Dark Souls. This was Dark Souls, took a fork in the road to action crazy Ninja Town, and it really went there. And it seems like they're taking a lot of feedback from the fans from the demo. They did that whole blog post, a bunch of changes coming to the game, a bunch of other stuff. With a new demo coming up, which is probably just going to be the E3 demo, maybe with a few changes. Also, I love how they're having 2 demos this year, and Gran Turismo had to cancel its beta so they could release on time because they didn't want to spend extra time making the beta. But this game has 2 demos. Like, it's just so weird. Different studios and different companies, how they do things. Nioh's like, yeah, it's alpha demo. Who the fuck knows? Here's another demo. I don't know. The game's still coming out this year, I guess. Stop making all these demos. So it sounds to me like the game's done, and they're just honing mechanics, and that's what they're using these demos for, which, oh my god. I think the bosses need a little refinement. They're a little rough around the edges. They're not as smooth and perfect as Dark Souls 3 bosses, but whew. Whew boy. That was good. 2000s are so retro now. Didn't catch that demo. Yeah, it sucks that was a limited demo. You had to be online. There's a few online features, very similar to Dark Souls. No, it was good. It's one of those things where, oh, if you beat the demo, you get something in the main game, which is cool. But that's a lie, because you beat that part of the demo, and it prompts you to download the DLC, And then there's another 3 hours. There's an entire another area and boss fight in that demo. This, to give you, since you didn't play it, to give you a sense of how much is in this game, or in this demo that wasn't there, it would be the equivalent of giving you Dark Souls 3 and giving you up to that second boss, or yeah, the second, the little frost pig man that charged you. It would be like that. There's that much content in the game. It's huge, huge. They did half of that would have been fine, and I would have been pleased. But then it just keeps going. And I'm like, I guess I'm playing this now. I guess I'm playing a whole fucking game. Six something hours, 6.5 hours probably took me to beat the whole thing. Loved it, loved it. Oh, there's hammers and there's pole arms. Completely different styles, completely different uses. Obviously, hammers are slower all around. The pole arms, I didn't really use too much. I used when you first get them, but then I kind of just switched to swords and whatever. There's a mechanic that they're taking out or reducing, which was equipment degradation, and weapon degradation. That's a hard word to say. They're taking that out or modifying it because you did have to start, like, I guess I'll use a whetstone now because Jesus Christ, everything's broken. They're changing that, which is why I'm glad to hear they're listening. Fucking love it. Loved Nioh so much. So much. I like how my games of the year so far, too. I have a game that didn't even come out this year, technically, but technically did. And a game that's a demo. Oh, notable games that aren't on this. I didn't play Far Cry Primal. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it eventually. I didn't play The Division. I played the beta for The Division and thought, that was enough. 4 hours of The Division, that was fine. That was enough content, which is weird. More content in this than in The Division beta. Didn't play Mirror's Edge, but I don't think anyone was going to pick that on their game of the year. I think that might be the only other games, big games that came out so far. There's a couple I'll go over in the next section. The 2000s are not retro. I'm really just, because we got a lot of 90s nostalgia and whatever. I'm going to be really sad when we move away from that and it's 2000s nostalgia. But for what? Oh, was everyone excited when the Xbox came out? I'm like, I guess. I don't know. There wasn't weird candy and shit like the 90s had. There weren't crazy Nickelodeon stuff. Was it going to be? I guess it's just going to be SpongeBob forever because it's still on. I don't know. Nah. So that's my games of the year. Then I'm going to talk about what else could be game of the year. There's still some contenders I could shuffle all this out. And a few games that came out earlier in the year, too, that I really want to play. Got on the Steam sale. Yippee skippy Steam sale. I clicked. I swear I clicked.